A broadcasting legend in his own mind. He's known to be prickly and very opinionated. It's time to get in the huddle with your host, Coach Muddle.
All right. Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to the Huddle. Got our very special guest joining us this evening.
Hi,
Angela,
everyone.
Spicy Raider girl. How you doing? Going to talk a little bit about your trip to Atlanta.
Yes.
And, of course, Nevada Nick. I don't know if you could see all the smoke, see him through all the smoke coming out of his ears from his performance on Monday night. And we'll talk a little more about about some Wednesday football we had. We had some NBA news, some Major League Baseball news. We're going to tap into a little bit of everything. We got a packed show. We appreciate everyone checking us out. So, and I know that Nick wants to start off with his Eagles. So, as much as I want ladies first, Angela,
No worries.
I want the smoke to clear from his screen from that in order to
mine's more of an accumulation. If you talk about last week's game, I think Angela's got a little bit more to complain about than I do.
Yeah, at least his team had a chance.
But, yeah, I mean, it's like, Coach, we talk offhand, and, like, people, you hear it and you think, oh, no way. But Seth Joyner said on Eagles Post-Game Live, Doug Peterson's basically wants to be fired. He's coaching like he wants to be fired. And you just got to question everything. Your offensive line is banged up. I think they said they've had 12 different combinations this year. I mean, we're not even 12 games into the year. I mean, you know it too, Coach. When you have that many injuries, you need to simplify things. And that starts with running the ball. And I'm sure you're tired of hearing me say it, Coach. It's funny. I went on my Facebook. You know how you get those memories? I had a memory of on Monday of the Sunday a year ago, me saying, when's Doug going to learn to run the ball? I mean, it was like 49-9 or something. I don't get it. Like, you got to help Wentz out a little bit. I know Wentz is playing terrible, but, their offense is struggling. If you see the last time they played the Seahawks, the last 3 times in the last 2 years, I mean, literally the 2 games last year that were the same exact score, and then this year, yeah, they get that late touchdown. But essentially, they scored 9 points in every game. I mean, Carson he has no help. I mean, he definitely needs to play better. But to me, the problem is more Doug Peterson and Howie Roseman. And there's no doubt about it. I mean, they're the issue. I just can't believe it because 3 years ago, Doug was a trendsetter. He really was, Coach, and I think you'll agree. If you see now how the league's going, I know everybody says it's analytics, and that's definitely part of it. But Doug was the coach that was really being aggressive, going on 4th down, going for 2-point conversions. And the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And they know, as you know, when a team wins a Super Bowl, a lot of teams start copying that. And, now we're at this guy, it's like the guy doesn't belong in the league. I mean, he's going from hero to zero. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I think part of that is, when you're going for it on 4th down and making it, you've got the buzz. But when you're going for it now and you're not making it, you're like, what are you thinking?
Right.
Like, they kicked that field goal instead of going on 4th and 3.
4th and 4.
Or 4th and 4, whatever it was. I mean, that really says it about the Eagles season, really.
Yeah, and you just don't – and then not just that, they stopped them and got the ball back. So if you kick the field goal, you have an opportunity to tie the game. I mean, it just made no sense what his thinking was. I mean, you really got to question what's going on. I mean, we've said it 100 times. I think he misses Frank Reich, obviously. There's no doubt about that. But I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, Angela understands what it is when you have that uncertainty with your starting quarterback. And, the Eagles are dealing with that right now with Wentz. But we're both kind of in the same scenario because it's like, okay, we agree. You got to change the quarterback, but who you bringing in? Angela brought that up last night on her show. who you bringing in to replace him? I mean,
and I don't want to start over. I mean, it's hard to start over, right? It's like,
yeah. And you can't just say, all right, we want a new quarterback. Let's just go find somebody. I mean, franchise QBs, there's like 10 in the world. So it's not exactly an easy thing. And one thing I'll bring up, Coach, they mentioned Eli Manning. In his 4th year, he led the league in interceptions. The following year, he wins the Super Bowl. So I just don't think we should give up on Carson yet. And I know everybody will go nuts about that, but he's playing horrible, but I just think he needs a team around him. It's hard to really judge over the last 2 years with all the injuries and just the talent around him.
Yeah, but
okay.
And at least they're still in the hunt there, so you have that going for you with the 3-7 record.
Right, which is insanity to me.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. But so back to my butt is I just think that you have to make a change. And I think, and I've never been a Wentz guy. I didn't think that he was going to be that guy. And I just think that, Philly's too big a place for him. He needs to go somewhere, Indianapolis. A small market team would do him really good because Philadelphia, New York, LA, well, now Vegas. But, I mean, when you're in those big markets, it is brutal. And if
they eat you alive.
You can't. And I just feel like he is reading the press clippings. He's been – he's going to be forever in Nick Foles' shadow, and unless he wins a Super Bowl. And I just don't think he's going to do that because he's just put so much pressure on himself to do that. And I don't think that it's feasible. And you're right. It is partly Doug and the general manager's fault, but I just think he is now got to move on.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, do I think a change of scenery would help him? Of course I do. And I do wonder if he has the right mentality for this city, if it matches Philadelphia. I do agree with you there. And the one thing that you are right about, they should have never paid him. Because now he would be going into his last year, and you could reevaluate things. And trust me, he wouldn't go to the table and get what he's getting. I mean, you're right about that. And, I disagreed with you at the time because I thought they were going to save money. But now, obviously, paying him wasn't the right decision.
Absolutely. I said that from Jump Street because you paid a guy who hadn't completed a full year in the league. And, just because you won the Super Bowl, you felt like you had to pay somebody and it wasn't your Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough decision, though, Coach, because Foles had played a couple of games. I still believe, and I can't say if Foles doesn't get hurt, do they win the Super Bowl? I don't know. But I do know this. If Wentz didn't start that season and set the table, Eagles don't win the Super Bowl. Foles, starting from game 1 and going on, they wouldn't have won the Super Bowl. I wholeheartedly believe that. I mean, you see Foles, he's inconsistent. He played pretty above his head great in the 2 biggest games of his career. But Nick Foles is an inconsistent quarterback. Mitch Trubisky is taking his job back from him. So let's not – and, I know – and once again, look at him in Jacksonville and Bears. When you're in different situations – certain quarterbacks are going to flourish. I thought Wentz was a top 5 quarterback. He's not. He's not Mahomes or Russell Wilson, where you can put them on any team and they're going to flourish. It's not Wentz. He needs a team around him.
Well, those guys also have teams around them. So
but still, Russell Wilson had no offense early on in Seattle and still did well.
Well, and they still did well against Russell Wilson's team. So I mean, even though you're frustrated, I mean, to lose by 6 points to a team that you're saying has, the elite quarterback or one of the top 5 elite quarterback. I mean, that's still a good performance if the right decisions were made.
Yeah, but it wasn't come on, you're the NFC East is a dumpster fire. Okay?
Yeah, well, I know.
It is, but wait a second. I mean, and right now the Eagles, and I'm going to quote our friend Billy, right now the Eagles are the trash juice at the bottom of the pail on a 90-degree day.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but that's what it is. I mean, hey, at least the Giants are in a trash bag at the top of the dumpster right now.
They're by a half a game, Coach. Get out of here.
Doesn't matter. We're still at the top, baby.
Oh, you were just wow.
You can still pluck that piece of food you dropped from the top.
That's right. You can still pluck it after that. That's right.
George Costanza over here.
That's right.
Angela, so now I guess on to your trip, which I'm sure when you were hopping on that plane to go to Atlanta was not the outcome you were seeing. Even a loss. I mean, if it was a close game, but man, the way it went. Tell us about your trip.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the trip was great. I mean, Raiders fans, we always win when we travel, and we travel in groups, and we always win at the tailgate and all that kind of thing. So that was very successful. But yeah, that win, I mean, they gave us nothing to cheer for. Nothing at all. I mean, 6 points. Geez, they almost had as many turnovers as they did points. I mean, 5 turnovers, 6 points. I mean, there's really nothing good to say about it. Drop passes, missed tackles, terrible offensive line, horrible defense. I mean, let's just hope they just leave that mess in Atlanta and they can pull out a win in New York, because, I'm starting to get a little bit of a flashback from last season, and hopefully history doesn't repeat itself and they hopefully they don't tank the rest of the season and they can do better than a 1-5 finish, because it's like do or die time, not only for me, like in this season, but for this team as we know it. I mean, it's been 7 years now for Derek Carr. It's time for him to step up and be a leader and make the playoffs. I mean, they did make the playoffs in 2016, but he's never even played in a playoff game.
Yeah.
So, even when hopefully they do make the playoffs, he's going to lack that experience as well. So if they do make the playoffs, it's like, how far, can this team really go? They're still very young. So I don't know. I'm a little nervous about the rest of the season. However, I did predict at the beginning of the season that the Raiders would finish 8-8 or 9-7.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, and that's what's crazy about football. They could go sweep those 3 games and then lose to the Broncos. You just never know with any team. But no, I think it's really important for the Raiders, and I think it's important they got to finish 10-6 and make the playoffs, because if not, it hangs over you when you're 6-4 in back-to-back years, and when it comes to November, late November and December, and you fail. That's just, that hangs over your head. And then next year, I mentioned it last night on Angela's show, they're going to go into it with a lot of pressure, because if they don't make the playoffs this year, I think this offseason it's going to be more on Carr. Is he the guy? Do you move on? Do you bring somebody like a Winston in? I know they have Mariota, but I don't ever think he was a plan. Do you bring somebody in case Carr doesn't work? But then, like I said, if they don't make the playoffs this year, I really think John Gruden's on the watch next year. I mean, if you go 4 years without making the playoffs, usually, especially, that they moved to Vegas.
Put a good team around them too.
Yeah, right. It just makes me really nervous, like getting rid of the quarterback, and the quarterback that's learned this offense. And it's supposed to be this like complicated offense, and the playbook is so thick that, there's just all of these plays. And that's another thing. It's like the play seems so predictable. It seems like we always know what's going to happen. I mean, if I can see it, so can the other team. I mean, so where is this playbook that is supposed to be so extensive? And if there is an extensive playbook, how is a new quarterback going to learn that so quickly? And in a year, next year, that could still be in this weird COVID era where they might not even have the proper training camp and preseason. We don't know that yet. Right. So it just makes me really nervous to start over. And I'm not sure, like,
Joe, you're nuts.
I'm not sure if this season is going into next season is the time to start over. I think we stick with Carr for at least one more season.
Unless in Carr's defense, Angela, Gruden is 6-16-1 against the spread in the second half on the road.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, he's not good at halftime adjustments. That's
he's not good. He wasn't good at the 6-minute adjustment.
Yeah. Non-division opponents.
And the one thing I would say too, since Gruden has left Oakland, he had the one Super Bowl year, and then he has not had much success after that. He really hasn't. The Bucs weren't successful after he left. I mean, let's not forget, he inherited Tony Dungy's team. Right. And that defense won a Super Bowl. It wasn't Brad Johnson and John Gruden. You had Warren Sapp.
Wasn't there? It was Brad Johnson was the quarterback.
Right. As I said, Brad Johnson wasn't Trent Dilfer. Yeah, he had gone. But yeah, it was Tony Dungy's team, and then Gruden put his hands all over it, and the team kind of fell apart. So there's a lot of questions. And Stiz, the 3 wins the Jets. I mean, the Raiders got to get. They got to beat, after the Jets, they got to beat the Broncos the last game of the season. That's a must win. And then you got to take 2 of the 3 at home between the Colts, Dolphins, and Chargers. And I'm telling you, that's going to be a tall task. It really is.
Miami's the last game.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
No, it's Denver. Denver, yeah.
Denver on the 3rd.
Right, yeah.
Miami's
the week
after
before.
Christmas. Got it.
Yep. I think Miami's a Saturday game, too.
Saturday night. 26th, yeah. So, yeah,
I mean,
they need to win all the games, honestly. I mean, but I don't see it out. I think they're going to, I think they're going to drop two of the.
Well,
I see them dropping like 2, and I don't know. It makes me so nervous. Like I'm having flashbacks from last year. I can't handle this game. I'm feeling like with the travel schedule, having to come back from Atlanta, not being able to practice since yesterday, having to travel back to the East Coast, and the Raiders have never played well in cold weather. I'm really worried about this game.
And the Raiders got a little bit of help from the NFL yesterday too, because obviously the Ravens were all banged up and lost, so they fell to 6-5 instead of going 7-4 and being ahead of the Raiders. So that would have been another team they need to jump. So that was a little bit of help to the Raiders yesterday. But yeah, I mean, like I said, obviously they got to win the bookend games, and then it's going to be a tall order beating the Colts, Dolphins, and Chargers, winning 2 of those 3 games.
Totally. And it sucks to be in a position now that we're not only having to root for the Raiders to win, but we're really having to root for all of these other teams to fail. I think at this point, it's going to be a combination of things. I mean, even with the new wild card in play, they're still only in the hunt. It's like I thought for sure with the wild card implemented that they would at least get in that way.
Yeah.
So being in the hunt now is just.
And I thought, okay, it would be the Browns because but now the Browns are 8-3. They're pretty much locked in the playoff spot right now.
Right. Schedule though. The Browns have beaten 1 team, and that's the Colts. Their other wins, they beat the Bengals twice. They beat 3 of the NFC East teams, the Eagles, the Redskins, and the Cowboys. That's 5 wins that don't matter. They beat Houston. And then obviously, who'd they beat? I'm drawing a blank on who they just beat.
Jacksonville.
They
barely beat Jacksonville.
Yeah. So that's their other wins. And then they did beat the Colts, who were missing Darius Leonard, their all-pro middle linebacker and best defensive player. So, I mean, look, the Browns run the ball. They do that really well. They got a great pass rusher in Myles Garrett, and Denzel Ward's a heck of a corner. So they're not a bad team. And I like Stefanski. He's done good there. But I'm not a Mayfield fan. And I think they're a bit of frauds. Look what the Raiders did to them. I mean, the Raiders handled the Browns easily. So, I mean, I think the Raiders are better than the Browns. It's just, their schedule. I mean,
the Raiders are so unpredictable, though. The Raiders always play to their opponent's abilities, I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they beat the Chiefs, and then you lose to the Falcons, and then they're dead even with the Chargers. It's like, where is this team? It's just so unpredictable.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree. And yesterday, I mean, the Steelers are 11-0, but they lose one of their best defensive players yesterday in a game that a lot of people feel like they shouldn't have played. As banged up as the Ravens were, and look, I knew the Ravens made it a game, and you could make the argument Ravens should have won. I mean, the guy did drop a touchdown in the end zone at the end of the first half, but yeah, I mean, it's a shame for the Steelers because now you've lost Devin Bush.
Why do you think they shouldn't have played?
Well, I mean, just the Ravens, I mean, so many guys are out. You're missing your starting quarterback, running backs. Oh, here we go.
I agree with that. I don't agree. They play. They have to play. They expanded the roster.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah, but when you're missing as many, they had an outbreak, Coach. Okay.
So what?
Okay, Coach.
About the Eagles.
Wait till the Eagles are playing. The Giants are playing the Eagles, and you're missing Daniel Jones, 2 of your running backs, your receiver, your lineman, your defensive tackle, your linebacker.
Next man up.
Okay.
That's what happened. Well, that's the same thing with the Raiders, right? The whole O-line was
they ended up playing.
List, and they ended up. That's what I'm saying. They ended up playing.
Yeah,
but
Ravens.
But they had the schedule and Goodell saying, we're going to move the game and hopefully their quarterback is healthy. Like if that sounds like favoritism to me. We're really basing it off of we're hoping someone's. I mean, what are the rules? Are the rules we have COVID, we postpone? Like they should have a not like, oh, we should postpone so their quarterback gets healthy.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
to me,
here's my only issue of my issue is like with the Raiders and the Ravens, which nobody's talking about, is the strength coach took off his tracker and got COVID and brought it back.
Yeah.
He should be fired. The team should have forfeited the game. The Broncos, on the other hand, they had to play with no quarterback because those guys were sitting in a room without a mask. That to me, they had their trackers on and they're taking their temperature. It shouldn't have been that big of an issue as the Raiders should have forfeited that game. But at the same time, I think, next man up. You expand the roster for a reason. Bring him in and play.
Same with Trent Brown. I thought he should have been in breach of contract, like you're saying, when he went away with his tracker off and then brought it back to the team. And guess what, Joe Fuller Sr.? Guess who cares about the Raiders? This girl. Don't even try me.
He just loves being Joe Fuller loves being a pest, for a lack of a better word. He and he's a Cowboys fan. He lives in Delaware County I do.
He's really
me and him. Yeah, that's just how he is. So I mean, we'll see what happens. I just Coach Goodell's so ho hum on we got to play these games in 17 weeks and we'll see what happens. But you see all these positives now. Let's see what happens over the next 5 or 6 weeks. And he said, look, I think it's an accomplishment, going through 12 of the 17 weeks and making it through. And I think it is. But things are changing very rapidly. And they better have a plan for the playoffs with a bubble, as I've said a few times, because if they don't, I guarantee you they're going to go into the playoffs and there's going to be a team that's going to have one of their best players get COVID and it's going to be a story. And then you're starting to talk, there's going to be excuses and you just don't want that. You don't want the credibility of a championship being called.
Don't you think we would have heard of some sort of talk about a bubble if they were planning that by now? I mean, it's pretty late into the season. I feel like if that was the plan, we would hear about it. So that leads me to believe that they aren't planning on doing something like that. What? No, I mean,
what are you talking about, Steven? What do you mean? Get a clue on what? What am I getting a clue on? Tell me. Because I have no clue. You're right about what you're talking about.
I got to get a clue too. We're in the same boat.
Yeah, you both do. I don't know if it's about COVID or what.
I'm not making any excuses for COVID. Next
maybe he doesn't like that we're saying about the breach of contract because that's what we both. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I was the one who said that they should. I thought the Ravens game shouldn't have been played.
It's COVID. Okay, it's a cold, man. Suck it up. All right.
Well, yeah, but like I said with the Ravens,
H1N1, and we still have had more people get sick than that.
I'm not talking about the disease. I'm talking about what happened to the Ravens.
Yes.
I'm saying the Ravens had all these people out. The Denver, I don't think anybody cared about Denver because they knew Denver wasn't going to make the playoffs. But if that's a different game, it might have been different. If it was a team fighting for the Saints or the Packers or something, it's a different thing. I mean, Denver wasn't going to make the playoffs, so that game didn't matter. But the Saints basically got a bye week playing Denver.
Yeah, you can call in. Here's the number, man. 302-313. Okay? Call
it literally says call in at the bottom.
He's drinking, I think. Yeah.
So, Steven, get a clue.
Oh, God.
Get a clue. Oh, man. Unbelievable.
So you want to talk about basketball, the trade, and the Lakers obviously signing their two biggest guys?
Yeah.
I think that's great. I'm excited. I think Rob Pelinka, the GM, and Jeannie Buss, the owner, I'm huge fans of both of them. I see a strategy here. So they signed Marc Gasol for 2 years for $5 million. They extend LeBron James for 2 years for $85 million, and then they sign who I think the Lakers' best player is Anthony Davis for 5 years. So I'm thinking that Rob Pelinka is
all right. Hold on, Angela.
Yes.
Hold on, Angela.
Okay.
Call from Steve.
There he is.
Steve, you're in the Huddle, buddy. What's up?
What's up?
Is this Coach
What's up,
Muddle?
Steve?
No, this is Fred Claus.
So, listen,
I'm
I'll
listening.
keep it short. You can't sit there, Nevada next right on. You can't make excuses for what you saw last night. And I'm following this, I'm doing all this, but like,
What?
if the Giants had
What?
in the playoffs, I'm not going to sit here and argue because, like, Nevada next right on. Like,
How much you paying this guy, Nick?
What's he even
How much
talking
you
about?
paying this guy?
but like, I sit here, I follow him and Spiz, and I'm not saying they're perfect in life, but my point is this: how can you two, and in all due respect to the Oakland Raiders fan, it's
I like that. I like you now
Nick.
that you said Oakland. Now we cool.
it's COVID. Like, it's COVID.
Right.
And Nevada next right on. Like, what are you going to do when Daniel Jones gets COVID? And
Yeah,
this and that?
it's the next man up.
That's
It's
what
the
we're
next
saying.
man
That's
up.
what we're
Yeah.
saying. Don't make excuses.
That's why the
and play.
NFL expanded the roster. They expanded the roster. It's next man up. I mean, why don't we just sit at home and hide under the
Yeah,
covers?
Right.
Then?
But
I mean,
what-
you signed.
Coach, what
You
I-
were able to opt out.
Coach,
You were able to opt out. Then, if
All right.
you were that worried, they should have opted out.
I know
This
but we're not,
is the
Coach.
deal.
But when it takes the competitive advantage of a game, that's when it bothers me. The Ravens got screwed yesterday.
Like,
The Ravens could have won that game. They don't throw a pick six. They win that game. What are you
Because
talking
the Steelers played horrible.
Or
So
play
what?
good defense on that last
So what?
floater to Washington. They could have played defense on that too and had a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
so, I'm not here to cause any problems. I'm just this is Texan. I'm not feeling them advancing. But the thing is I want to come and see Coach Muddle when the Giants are going in the playoffs.
exactly. We'll be in the playoffs. Philadelphia will be home watching it. End of story.
And that's how it's
thanks
been for the
your call,
Giants the
man.
last
We
5 years.
appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank
Steve.
you. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Steve.
it. Thanks, Steve. We appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Honestly, I hate to say it, Coach. I hope it happens because then you're going to be the one crying if
No,
Daniel
I'm
Jones or
not.
somebody gets COVID.
I am not. I am not. This is my line. I don't care. Next man up. That's why
what
they
I'm saying
expanded the
too. I don't
roster.
understand why he thinks we're the ones making the excuse.
Right.
Well, no, I don't. I think he's saying that basically. I think Steve had a few at the office, possibly, but no, I think he was saying it wasn't fair in regards to the Ravens, and I agree with that. I do. I just think, look, they're 6-4 and right on the edge of the playoffs, and I mean, how can you competitively? And I know it was a close game, but the Steelers fumbled a punt, had an interception at the 1 yard line. The Steelers.
That's why you play the game. That's why you play the game.
I know.
I mean, if you went down on paper with all of these things, why bother playing them? But you play them for that reason.
Okay, Coach. Well, then why before when the Titans had an outbreak, did they cancel the game or postpone the game?
They did postpone it.
But why? Then why didn't they do that for the
They
Ravens?
postponed this game. We played it almost a week later.
No, but they postponed it
Wait,
a week.
It was
And the
scheduled
Titans had
for
most of their
Thursday
players
of
back.
Thanksgiving, and today is 1 week from Thanksgiving, and they played it yesterday.
Yeah,
So
but
they
the Titans
postponed it.
weren't missing half their team, Coach.
Well,
Okay.
and that's what I'm saying. I think the rules should be just consistent. I don't think it should
Right.
matter if it's your quarterback that's sick or
Right.
injured or if you're in a playoff race or not. They should stick to the rules.
I agree with
Stop
that.
making all of these, depending on which team it is and all of this nonsense.
Right. And I think the big thing is, and obviously the difference is, Coach, the Titans had a bye week and there was flexibility. Now with the Ravens, there's no flexibility because we're late in the season, and
Right.
that's why they're not doing it. And it's because the NFL is so hard-headed about fitting this schedule in 17 weeks. I'm just saying the Ravens are a good team. I know they're 6-5.
But here's my point, and I am all about the underdog, the little. How are those guys getting the opportunity then? This is where those guys get the opportunity to make a living in the league. Okay,
Right.
You expanded the roster. Sorry that you took your band off and gave COVID to half the team. Now some other guy gets to step up and make a name for himself. Okay, that's why we watch the game and play it.
And how'd that work out for anybody yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't,
He's calling the wrong number. He's calling the wrong number.
Steve.
He's not calling. Are you calling it back again?
Yeah, I'm calling back to
Why?
Muddle's life, the Giants' life. He needs something. Like,
I'll try.
Wait,
Sis, I'll
yes,
try.
the Giants do mean something when I polish my 4 Super Bowl trophies.
Oh.
It took you your whole lifetime to get one. Okay? And now you're not relevant again for another 60 years. So, yeah, Carson Wentz, and I'm going to use this quote again. Carson Wentz is the trash juice at the bottom of your trash can on a 90-degree day, because that's where he is until he leaves.
Did you read all the reports? Did you see where
I'm dyslexic. I can't read.
He really is dyslexic.
Yeah.
Did you see where Manning's with the Giants, where he was in his 4th year?
Yes, I know. He led the league in interceptions, Nevada, and then he went to a Super Bowl after that.
I think the caller's listening to your show.
Yeah, but here's the difference. Here's the difference. I'm going to tell you the difference. Okay, Eli was not in Nick Foles' shadow, who came in and won a Super Bowl 3 years ago. So he had no pressure on him, like he has put pressure on himself. So he will never succeed in Philadelphia ever. Okay.
Right, so
Hey, thanks for the call. We appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank you.
Oh, man. He's liable to call back.
I think you were still talking the entire time. I couldn't hear anything.
Sorry. So,
I just heard him like muffled.
You're getting to see. Oh, God. You should have seen it before when it was some of the arguments where we were screaming at each other. It would just get pretty
I watched. Oh, I know.
Yeah. Now, we'll go to. Let's get back to the Lakers. We can stop all the other. We can move on.
Let's move on to the Lakers.
Look. I think the Lakers.
They're setting up a three-peat, Nick. They're setting up a three-peat.
No, they are, and obviously they benefit a little bit from Klay Thompson.
Don't you have to win 2 before 3? Is that? Or I've been out of the math.
But with the 2-year extension with LeBron and the 2-year deal with Marc Gasol, I think, and they're setting up for a push for the next 2. That's my math. And then with AD, who in my opinion is arguably the best player on the team, after that, they're going to set up for maybe somewhat of a rebuilding type of situation.
And Jay, I'm still mad about 2002. I think he's talking for the Sixers when they lost to the Lakers. That Sixers team was so gritty and so good, and Kobe just annoyed me. And that's when Kobe had his strained. But he had a strained relationship with Philly. He's from Philly. He said he wanted to rip our hearts out, and he literally did. I mean, come on. Imagine somebody saying they wanted to rip the Raiders' hearts out, and they ripped their hearts out, and they're from Oakland. Like Marshawn Lynch, that would have hurt a little bit. I'm just saying, Angela, that would have had an effect. All right.
I feel you. I feel you on that one. Good analogy.
But no, the Lakers, obviously you benefit from Klay Thompson getting hurt, because I think the Warriors were going to be a challenger this year.
They don't stand a chance now.
But getting Harrell from the Clippers, taking their 6-man and putting him on the Lakers, and the Lakers' problem this year was depth. You get Gasol, which I think is an upgrade from Dwight Howard, and then Dennis Schroeder, and then obviously you get Harrell. I think it's an upgrade. I think the Lakers are by far going to be the team to beat. It's going to be very interesting, though. I'll tell you. Oh, this is somebody different. This is somebody different.
All right.
Okay.
Call from
Coach Muddle.
To accept, press 1.
You're in the huddle. Who's this?
Is this the Muddle in the Huddle?
Who's this?
This is Edward Winshaw.
Oh, okay.
What's up, Edward?
How you guys doing?
Good.
I hear you're talking about my LA Lakers.
Yep. So is your dog, apparently.
My dog likes the Lakers too.
Yeah.
All right, what can we do for you?
Happy with what's going down in LA?
Are we what?
Happy about what's going on in Lakerland.
I mean, I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm a Sixers fan. But I think if you're a Lakers fan, how can't you be happy? Angela's a Lakers fan. You want to take that question, Angela?
Yeah, like I said, I think Rob Pelinka is setting up for a three-peat here. Like I said, with the contract extension and getting Gasol and locking in Anthony Davis, and I think they're going to be the team to beat in the West. The teams are kind of starting to fall apart. Everyone who had these teams that were going to make a run last year or expected to didn't really do what everyone thought they would do, and now they're really just starting to almost panic. There's a lot of desperation trades, I think, going on, and the Lakers just look the most solid to me.
Yeah. And Ed and Angela, I wonder too about Magic Johnson, if he regrets leaving now, because, you heard a little bit of rumblings that there was some dissension between him and Pelinka, and, obviously he leaves, and then 1 year later, they win a championship, and now they're setting up for, LeBron's got 4. He might be able to match MJ, which I think is his goal, and maybe even surpass and get those 6 or 7 rings.
Oh, wow.
I don't know about that now, but, I think he's just waiting for his kid. I think he's waiting for his kid.
Yeah, but he's got 4 rings. He needs 2 more. That's very possible.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope he gets the next 2. I don't know about 7. I think that might be a reach.
No, that might be far-fetched, but still, it's possible.
All right, Ed. Thanks for the call, buddy. We appreciate
thanks for the call, Ed.
Out, man. Thanks.
Man, Coach is hanging up on everybody.
I
know. And I apologize, my friend. I usually don't get right. The arrow just happened to hit the button. Was right there, so I didn't. It normally doesn't happen when I switch.
Yeah, and that's one thing too. With Lou Williams is still out there too for the Clippers. They need to get him in Clipperland if they want to be able to hang with the Lakers. Like I said, they already lost Montrezl Harrell. If Lou Williams goes elsewhere, I don't know what's going to happen with the Clippers. And you're hearing now too, Paul George is coming out and saying Doc Rivers wasn't using them properly. And there was look, the Clippers were the best team in the league in my mind on paper, and they didn't get it done. And you can't – I think they were better than the Lakers, Angela, my opinion.
But like Coach says, that's why they play the game, right?
No, right, and they didn't get it done. And to me, LeBron and AD were the 2 best players, and they handled their business, and give them credit. I mean, the Clippers choked. They were up 3-1 on Denver. And I think you'd agree with this, Angela. I would have loved to seen that Lakers-Clippers series. I don't, like I said, maybe Lakers do beat them, but it would have been a great series, I think.
I would have loved to see it, and I would have loved to see it more if they were actually playing in the Staples Center. Yeah. That would have been special, I think.
Yeah, where it would have been a home game for the Lakers every game.
For sure.
Not during COVID, but if it was real, because it's obviously the Lakers are the team in the town, not the Clippers.
And you said they choked. I kind of almost felt like they gave up. I don't know if that's the same, but they kind of.
No, you're right. I mean, because I don't think they wanted to be there. They wanted to opt out. Yeah, and they had that feel. They just they didn't seem like they wanted to be there. And the Clippers haven't won a championship ever. So I mean, you'd think for that city, and I know Kawhi's won titles, but still, you're going up against the Lakers. That would have been big for Clippers fans. And look, their owner puts the money where his mouth is, and I know he was disappointed. And I don't think Doc Rivers, I know he did not have much playoff success with the Clippers, but I don't think he was the problem. I think it was the team.
I agree. And I think he got treated a little unfairly there in the end.
Right. And look at Coach, he's not saying anything because we're talking about basketball, and he don't know the difference between a basketball and a soccer ball.
I do. I'm just waiting to find the right time to throw the Knicks in the conversation because
he's hoping Steve calls back.
Maybe when they're relevant, Coach.
Yeah.
I know they're not playing on Christmas Day. It's usually a staple that the Knicks playing on Christmas Day, and they're not because they're not relevant. But I'm happy with their draft, and I'm anxious to see them on the court, man.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for them, Coach, is going to be can they bring somebody in free agency that's going to come into New York, which is crazy because you're playing for the Knicks. But with the whole
I really think Zion, if you got Zion,
Yeah.
I'm not a shoulda, coulda, woulda guy, but if they had gotten Zion, I think you would have been able to get some free agents to come to New York. But now you're not. But I think now that the owner has kind of stepped away, like out of the spotlight now, you have kind of those guys running the show, whatever I'm not a big fan of the former agent being the president, ops guy, or whatever. And I'm okay with Tom Thibodeau. I think it'll be interesting to see. So
he'll whip them into shape, that's for sure.
But look how good Rob Pelinka's doing in that position, former agent turned GM for the Lakers. I mean,
yeah.
Well, it's LA. Everybody's an agent in LA,
Right. But Pelinka, he had a lot of criticism there. And look, when what's it, Jim Buss? Is that who it is? The brother? When he was running the Lakers, no, Jerry was the father, but Jim was running the team, and it was a disaster. And then obviously Jeannie took over, brought Johnson and Pelinka in, and Pelinka was Kobe's agent, and I think one of his closest friends too. Yeah, so, and I think Kobe always had,
Well, first he brought in our boyfriend. First.
Yeah, Phil Jackson. It's Phil Jackson, dude. I mean,
we
it's
said
not
the
like
same
she brought her
thing in New York.
boyfriend
We
in.
said the same thing in New York. It's Phil Jackson, and he poured more gas on the dumpster fire than anything.
Well, it's because it's the Knicks. That wasn't the Lakers' fault. That was the Knicks' fault. It's not like she brought her Cabana boy in and made him head coach. It's Phil Jackson, It's not like she made Coach Muddle coach and it would have been a disaster. I mean, Phil Jackson's got a ring for every finger, brother. You know what I mean? Like, come on, coach. I mean, the Knicks.
I think even maybe a couple toes.
Right. You're right. I think it is. It's more than 10. And look, the Knicks, Larry Brown, who turned the Sixers around, turned the Pacers around, made Detroit a champion again. A great coach. He went to New York and failed. Isaiah Thomas went to New York and failed. It's like where head coaches go to die. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of coaches were going there and not had success.
Pat Riley did a great job there.
That's it. Pat Riley.
No. He's the commentator on TNT. What's his name?
Jeff Van Gundy.
Jeff Van Gundy, thank you. Did a great job there. There's two guys that did a good job. I mean,
Yeah. Coach, you cracked me up.
Did you guys hear that the final Ball son was signed a contract? I forget which.
Who got drafted? You saying?
There's one other one.
There's one.
LiAngelo.
He's the middle brother, LiAngelo.
Right. Yeah.
I think he's like on a trial period, if you will.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, the one thing I feel bad about them is their dad runs his mouth and causes so much pressure for those kids. I mean, he's just a clown. I mean, what he put Lonzo through and through all the expectations, saying the Lakers were going to win titles and all that. And, saying all three of his boys were going to be on the Lakers. And you can see his own son, the one who just got drafted, signed a shoe deal with Puma. He didn't, because his dad still has the Big Baller brand. And, he didn't sign with his own dad because his dad told him not to sign any endorsements. And I just think he's a guy who's living through his kids and trying to take all the limelight from his kids and shine it on himself. And just he's the father of today's sports, that are pushing their kids too far, the kids that don't maybe want to play the sport. He's what's wrong with youth sports
I agree
today.
with that. I'll agree with that. I'll take that.
Looks like Steve's trying to say Eli in the thing. But Steve, thanks for the call.
Eli, 2 Super Bowls, baby. 2 Super Bowls.
And look, Steve's already smart because he's agreeing with Nevada Nick, and Nevada Nick's always right. So at least between me and Coach Angela, I'm not going to say with me and you, but with me and Coach, I'm always right. We know that.
Yeah.
Anyway. I'm gonna stay neutral on this one, right in the middle where I am, right here.
Yeah, I just got a message. She goes, "You're right, Nick." He said, "I just got the message." So,
well, he just said BS, man. He called it like he sees it, I guess.
Yeah. No, he does. I mean, look, everybody can agree to disagree. I mean, like I said, and it's a tough thing to talk about. It really is. That's just like I said. That's how I feel with the Ravens, and it is what it is. But I don't think they were going to win a Super Bowl anyway. So. I don't tell him he's calling back. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, this is a good call. All right. I can see who it is. Take it. Not that it was bad, but I don't want the fight. It's Stiz.
You're in the huddle. Who's this?
Yeah, is this Bryn's Made Bake Shop?
Did you get your cookies?
I don't know where my damn cookies are at.
Oh.
Let me tell you something, Coach. If I don't get these cookies by Sunday, I might be going on strike for the podcast.
Okay, I won't hold my breath.
I'm trying to get the caller of the night here. So, quick question for you guys.
All right.
Last night's Pittsburgh game, 11-0. Are they for real, or are they, as what Coach refers to as fugazi?
They're fugazi.
Fugazi. I'm gonna go fugazi.
I love great defense, and I think they got a great defense, but with the injuries and all, I think it's going to be hard to get past the Chiefs. I really do.
Yeah.
And there's
Bud Dupree out for the season, man. That's a big loss.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. And too, Stiz, the offense hasn't been playing well the last few weeks, and it's not about who's playing great in October and September. It's about who's playing great in December and January. So let's see how the Steelers do down the stretch here. I mean, they are going to have that number 1 seed most likely, unless something happens here. They still have an easy schedule kind of going down the stretch. Yeah. So let's see who the number 1 seed is and where we're at January 4. And then I guess we'll all of us will kind of make our predictions.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I honestly think they get destroyed in the playoffs. I mean, maybe not the first week, like you're saying, having the top seed possibly, but I don't know. I think they had a soft schedule so far, and that's why they're 11-0, and their offense really hasn't been playing great,
Right. Yeah, and they couldn't run the ball yesterday too. And if you become one-dimensional, you're going to get shut down. I mean, and the Chiefs, they'll put pressure on Roethlisberger. So, Big Ben played well yesterday, but a lot of drops, and they couldn't run the ball.
No, 100% agree. 100% agree. Juju really didn't have that great of a game besides that touchdown he had, and the same thing with Deontay Johnson. And Claypool, a couple drops, like you're saying.
Look, they take RG3 out of that game after the pick 6. I thought McSorley played great. He should have been in the game longer.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, McSorley had that 72-yard bomb that put him on the board.
Right.
That was the best pass of the night, I thought.
Yeah, I thought McSorley kind of put him back on. Kind of was the spark they needed to get going again.
Yeah, because
RG the debacle at halftime, right before halftime.
Sure.
Yeah,
and like Coach said, Ravens, should have possibly won that game. Look, before halftime, they bad time management for one.
Horrible.
For two, instead of kicking a field goal with basically a second or two left, they fake the handoff. They throw it to the guy in the back of the end zone, right in his hands, and he drops it.
Yeah.
I mean, that could have been your win right there because they only lose by 5 points. So
right, absolutely.
Yeah. Stiz, your caller of the night now. Congratulations.
But I wanted to try to get the caller of the night. So,
you are the caller of the night. Thanks, Stiz.
I didn't even know that was an award for that.
Yeah, no, there is an award. It's more cookies, Stiz, that you're probably never going to receive. So don't be like me, Stiz, sitting by waiting for the mailman to bring those cookies. I've been waiting for 2 weeks.
Been sitting in front of my mailbox for the last 5 days.
All right. Well, listen. Well, you know what we'll do? Sunday, we will make a call collectively from the show to the bake shop and find out where these cookies are.
There you go. Yeah, it's the bakery's fault.
That's right.
Coach, you got your cookies.
Listen. Where is it? Here, give them a call. Bryn's Made, hit them up and ask where Stiz's and Nevada Nick's cookies are. They want to know.
I'm totally
hit them up and ask them. It's out of my hand. I passed on the information.
Right.
So,
Now, Angelo, do you want to talk about your YouTube page a little bit? I know you just hit 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
We just hit 30.
Coach, why we got to bring that up?
Hey, we had to hit 30 at some point too, right?
At some point, you got to get there.
Yeah, so our show is For Life, Our Raiders Story. Check it out on YouTube. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. We have 4 seasons out right now, 4 episodes in each season. And then we also have special segments, interviews with different Raiders fans and things like that. And we just talk about the culture of the Oakland Raiders and how we feel about the move and the transition. What's this talking about?
And he said you're going to get
Oh,
Steve, the guy to call the bakery. And you do that, you might never get the cookies, buddy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And and then I have a show on Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's called Our Take, and I'm your host. And what we do is it's a new show, but what we're doing is we're focusing on the Raiders game moving forward and the local booster clubs and things like that to kind of inform Raider Nation what's happening in each city that the Raiders will be in is part of the show. So we're kind of just we want to bring the community, the Oakland Raiders community together.
Well, and what I think is cool too is just, and I know obviously with COVID you haven't had to be able to get out there as much, but for the home games, and obviously we've done on the road as well with a few games, but just interacting with the fans and what you guys do. Little Chucky Gruden, who is just so cool. I think it's a great thing, and looking forward to what you guys do next year. Hopefully, when things open up, I think it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, and maybe next year we'll do a joint show from Vegas.
Yeah,
when the Eagles are in town.
Yeah,
that would be cool. And look at, someone just told me before we came on. I guess we were on NFL Films on Showtime because they did come to our tailgate in Atlanta. I haven't seen it yet, so if anybody sees it, like if you can record it or tag me in it. I do have the app. I tried to watch it. I didn't see us.
Yeah,
so
well,
I'll have to circle back.
I don't think that's going to be one of the games on the NFL Network Game of the week or anything, because it was a kind of a one-sided game there, Angela.
For sure, but someone said they saw us.
I saw the pictures. You guys were at one point right at the first row, right? Kind of leaning up. Was it in the end zone or where you were?
Yeah, we were in the end zone, but that was on that was just on the broadcast, the game broadcast. This is on NFL Films on Showtime. Somebody said they saw us. And
wow. And inside the NFL.
Right. Because the camera crew did come by our tailgate before.
Okay.
And took some B-roll. So
I have Showtime, so I'll have to watch that on demand and see if I catch it.
I don't have that.
I have the app. I tried watching it. I didn't see us, but I scrubbed through it quickly before the show, so I'll have to go back. But yeah, if you see it, let me know.
Right. And then you guys also do now I don't know if you do it every Sunday, but you do pregame and postgame sometimes too, correct?
Correct. Yes. Thank you for mentioning that. We usually do post game. The last 2 times we did a pregame, just kind of starting something new. And let's just say, thank goodness we did a pregame this last game, because YouTube would have kicked me right off of there the way I was feeling. Santangela definitely came out. I had to go and be in a timeout. That would not have been a good look. But yes, thank you for that. So yes, look out for our pregame or postgame show.
Yeah, I give you credit because getting them over to YouTube stuff. Like we had 3,500 views for our show last Sunday, but getting it to go to which like you'd think, I know Facebook's Facebook, but literally it's just a different link. If you enjoy the show, it's like, okay, just go here, go to YouTube, but it's really hard to get them over there. I know Coach would like it because Coach is standing on the side and we'll work for food.
So right now we are streaming live not only on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Boom.
We are on all 3 right now live. So after the show, I'll make sure I tag Twitter. I think you sent me your Twitter. I
thought you were going to say I'll Twitter you. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's how bad this guy don't know how to do social media whatsoever.
So there you go. Yes,
he's going to YouTube how to tweet somebody, right, Coach?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm new to that.
I don't use Twitter.
We used to have an intern, but with COVID, we were about to get our new intern. COVID hit. Now we've had no intern for almost a year now. It's terrible.
Yeah. Well, I'll try to drive some people to your YouTube channel. But yeah, like Nick said, it definitely is a lot harder. I think it's because people scroll through Facebook and people aren't typically scrolling through YouTube, at least not our demographic.
Right.
On our channel, but I do have you.
Steven, how would you know? Channel. How would you know that? Well, you're too busy working out a glory hole. How would you know? So. Go buy some more lipstick. Go back to the glory hole. Keep your mouth shut.
Oh my God.
That's the
Sorry,
Cowboys
Angela.
fan, right? That's the Cowboys fan.
No,
Is that what
that's
it is?
Joe's the Cowboys fan. He's an Eagles fan. So,
Oh,
and
Eagles.
Angela knows
well,
about
there
Eagles
you
fans
go.
personally.
That explains everything.
Angela got harassed at an Eagles game on Christmas at so luckily you weren't dressed as Santa, then they might throw throwing the snowballs at you. So.
Yeah, go check out there's an episode that we talk about Eagles fans, so go check that out. It's on our channel.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I made sure to watch that one because I just wanted to see the whole interaction with Philly, and Philly never disappoints. That's all I got to say. They always deliver when it comes to that kind of stupid shit.
Oh, I didn't say it.
No, trust me. I've been to them. I've seen it. I've been harassed by Philly fans, and from Philly. Like I told you the story about the Knicks 100 times. I mean, I was 12 years old, and they're yelling things at me. Yeah. All right, I'm not. Coach. All right, settle down there, Coach, before I come over there.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't. It was. They're rough. There's no doubt about it.
And I had the same Facebook, or not the same. I had a Facebook memory last year from last year. It said something like the Raiders are playing the Chiefs, and I said the Raiders played the last 2.5 games and only scored 20 points. The Chiefs and the first half against the Raiders have already scored 21. So if the Raiders combined 2.5 games versus the one half they're playing the Chiefs, they still would be losing. So that was my memory. You mentioned George at the beginning of the show. That was my Facebook memory of the day. Equally.
There you go. Mama Moon now we have 31 subscribers.
All right.
Angela already growing us. There we go.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I thought Angela's mom was her sister. I really did, man.
Really? So did I. I didn't know that was.
I thought it was her sister. It's her mom. Yeah.
Yeah, Mother Moon's my mama.
All right.
Yeah, and Angela, so you became a Raiders fan from your grandmother, though, correct? Isn't that what you said? It was wow.
Correct.
That's
That's
cool.
where it all started.
Yeah. See, my family, we all went different ways. My dad's a Packers fan. I'm an Eagles fan. He's a San Francisco Giants fan. I'm obviously a Phillies fan, so we kind of just went opposite directions.
Oh, that's all over the place. Yeah, no, our family definitely did not do that. At least no family that we still consider family. No, I'm kidding.
So, absolutely great stuff, Angela. As always,
thank you.
Yep. We love having you on.
Thank you
yes, we do.
Me.
Coming on, we appreciate it.
And thank you for letting me Nevada Nick for 10 minutes a week.
anytime. So, and great stuff, everyone. Make sure if you have not, go like the page, go over to YouTube, ring the bell, subscribe. Coach Muddle, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, just type it in. I pop up. Hit me up, be part of the show. We appreciate all of it.
Yeah.
So, everyone, thank you. And make sure Sunday morning, 10 a.m., Nick and his picks, and Stiz, the cornhole champion.
Stiz will be busy waiting for his cookies by the mailbox.
Yes, he may or may not be.
Cookies might not be here.
Depending on the cookies. So, we'll see. But, join us Sunday morning. It's always fun. And thanks for checking us out. We appreciate it. All right. Good night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
If I could hit the button there.